The shocking announcement made by BYD CEO Wang Chuanfu is that the company is shifting its emphasis from producing electric vehicles to hybrid cars. Doesn't that sound strange? The news that was heard frequently was all the companies focusing on electric cars. In the era of emerging electric vehicles, why should they need to make such a decision? Is it possible for hybrid vehicles to act as a practical transition to sustainable transportation, especially in developing regions with little EV infrastructure? Let's get deep into this shocking news. BYD's CEO recently announced the limitation of the manufacture of EVs and focusing on hybrid gasoline-emitted cars. Have you ever thought about why that actually happened? In order to understand the reason behind this sudden decision, it's necessary to know the current situation of the economy and the facilities that lack EV car support. Have you ever thought of the downside of EV cars? Electric vehicles are becoming more and more common as Wang Chuanfu's concerns about the environment and climate change rise. In the UK, there are already more than 750,000 electric vehicles registered. Even while they still compete with conventional cars for performance and economics, electric cars are significantly more environmentally friendly. However, a lot of people are still worried about the disadvantages of electric vehicles, which could impede or delay the adoption of EVs on a larger scale. Sales of electric vehicles have increased dramatically in recent years, by 40% by 2022. Myths about electric cars are still circulating, disseminating false information about them that could turn off drivers. It's also fair that there is still some opposition to the conversion to electric cars, because change is never easy. Among all car owners, owners of electric vehicles have the highest owner satisfaction rating. However, drivers of electric vehicles describe serious problems with reliability. According to a 2022 assessment, electric SUVs were found to be the least dependable vehicles on the road. However, drivers of electric vehicles describe serious problems with reliability. Right now, electric SUVs are the least dependable vehicle class. Even though it has all these benefits, what made BYD's CEO cancel and focus more on hybrid cars? Even though many drivers complain about their electric cars, for the first time in 2021, the overall problem rate for EVs was lower than that of ICE vehicles. Since they have fewer moving parts than non-EVs, electric cars are already less likely to experience mechanical problems than conventional cars. Additionally, electric cars should become more dependable as technology related to them develops. Besides all these, one of the problems that was mentioned for the shift due to the battery degradation. The battery life of electric cars is one of their main drawbacks. The battery's capacity gradually drops, just like with any other. Researchers estimate that each year, battery capacity drops by about 2.3%. Temperature has a major impact on battery life. According to one study, batteries had an average lifespan of 5.2 years in Florida's warm climate. Their lifespan in Alaska's frigid climate could reach 13.3 years. However, additional data indicates that EV batteries are, in fact, surviving a lot longer than previously believed. Experts in the field predict that the battery will frequently outlive the vehicle. But did you know about China's new sodium-based battery that is better than lithium? Do you think this will help with the current situation? As the production of the battery is very expensive, it consumes so much wealth. It has been demonstrated that poor electric climate control systems reduce the vehicle's range. This is especially problematic when the vehicle is started in a cold environment. Car heaters are therefore likely to operate less efficiently in the cold. Large volumes of waste heat are used by gasoline and diesel vehicles' climate control systems to warm the cabin, even though these systems are typically no longer effective. Due to all this, it was necessary to make such a decision. What do you think about this situation? The in-car electronics of many electric vehicle drivers have been the subject of complaints, ranging from malfunctioning electric doors to failing temperature sensors. Tesla issued a recall in May 2022 as a result of a display screen issue that affected 4 different car models. In order to fix common issues with automatic windows, they have also recalled automobiles. While some of these problems are inconvenient, they won't make it harder for you to operate the car safely. But additional electronics, like temperature sensors, are essential to making sure your battery is running within safe bounds. Thus, any problems with electronic sensors need to be reported and resolved in a way. It's important to remember that a lot of these problems are specific to certain electric brands or models. As such, they are not EV-specific issues. The world is moving toward an electric-based transportation system due to growing concerns about climate change and the unstable fuel market. To make this transition, a nation must rebuild significant infrastructure, establish highly funded research, alter laws, and make adjustments to its available resources. There are several regions and countries where EV infrastructure is less. This is due to the inefficiency of providing them with the resources and financial aid. So, the lack of resources and financial inefficiency put a barrier in front of the growth of the EV world. Do you think the same? Are underdeveloped nations, though, prepared for the era of electric vehicles? Potential effects of electric vehicles on electric grid systems exist in addition to issues with infrastructure and the surrounding environment, particularly in developing nations like those in Southeast Asia. The availability of electric automobiles is undoubtedly appealing to consumers in the home market. But this can have a negative effect. Apart from the previously mentioned concerns, home vehicle users differ from those in the public transportation sector, whose vehicle charging is subject to central authority oversight. Stated otherwise, a different shift scheme might be implemented. In the meantime, consumers in the household sector are able to freely charge their vehicles whenever it suits them. These users would most likely charge their autos after returning from their jobs. Regretfully, this coincides once more with the household sector's peak load. We'll see the duck curve and its associated problems once more. These basic findings suggest that Indonesia and other Southeast Asian nations face difficulties in advancing the usage of electric vehicles, particularly in the home sector. Their electrical systems must be upgraded in order to properly balance the supply and demand of electricity in order to address these issues. Managing charging from the peak load to the base is one way to achieve this. For example, the government could install charging stations in office buildings or offer incentives to office buildings that install solar rooftops and dedicated charging stations that use the electricity from those rooftops. In addition to filling the valley by raising load during periods of typically low demand, solar PV can also be used as an electricity source. This pairing could result in the ideal supply and demand for low-carbon products. If there was a possibility of things happening like this, then why did BYD's CEO make such a decision? Bringing back hybrid cars can make changes for normal people, as it is aware that EV cars are expensive, so that everyone won't have the ability to buy such expensive cars. So this is one of the benefits that got through Scheiding from EV to hybrid cars. Many nations are currently working to encourage the use of electric vehicles on their roadways. Operating costs for electric vehicles are lower than those of conventional automobiles. Furthermore, the cost of ownership is getting cheaper and more accessible for the general public as a result of technological advancements and industrial trends in the transportation sector. The majority of wealthy nations, including China, France, Japan, Norway, and South Korea, continue to lead the world in the usage of electric vehicles. But many emerging nations are also beginning to feel the effects of this trend. Current data suggests that, despite rumors to the contrary, EVs are no more likely to catch fire than their petrol or diesel counterparts. However, there is a bit of a caveat to that statement. Once alight, a lithium-ion battery can be extremely difficult to extinguish, so much so that some manufacturers have advised firefighters to let the car burn out in a controlled manner rather than attempt to put out the blaze. The risks involved remain incredibly small, however. We don't believe this should be a factor in whether anyone chooses an EV. Also, anecdotal evidence suggests that defective seals are an issue with electric vehicles, especially with Tesla owners. Another drawback of some electric car models is air leakage and drafts, which can also result from poor sealing and excessive noise within the vehicle. This may significantly reduce how pleasant and comfortable the travel is. So, the shift from EV development to hybrid cars definitely brings changes in the automobile industry. What are your thoughts on this sudden decision? Comment down your views. If you found this video informative, please give a thumbs up, and if you like more updated news on cars, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one.